So starting with the very first question, this deals with which topics? Salts, acids, and bases. Because these topics go side by side. All alongside metal reactivity. It's metal reactivity के questions इसमें है नहीं, but these three topics go side by side when it comes to इसमें redox भी आ जाता है, इसमें electrochemistry भी आ जाता है, whatsoever. अच्छा, starting with the very first question. Element X forms an oxide, XO, that neutralizes sulfuric acid. Which row describes X and XO? Clearly, if it's neutralizing sulfuric acid, it must be a base. And we know that metal oxides are basic in nature and non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. How to remember this? I ask my students to memorize one example of each, HCl and NaOH. Here, Na is a metal, Cl is a non-metal. So acids and bases. This is the best way to remember K, which makes one. So if I've explained already, so which is the possible answer? कि metal is कौन सा option होगा A and B में से?
B.
Good. Then they have said copper sulfate is prepared by adding excess copper oxide to warm dilute sulfuric acid. Which purification methods are used to obtain pure solid copper sulfate from the reaction? Crystallization must have, filtration must have, and distillation and chromatography is not required. Because solubility है इसके अंदर, chromatography तो हम mostly use करते हैं किस purpose के लिए?
Separating
To check
soluble mixtures.
No, to check the purity of a substance and to check how many substances are present. The purity mainly हम उसके लिए word use करते हैं. Distillation जो है वो difference of boiling points की वजह से हम use करते हैं. So none of that is required. So option number B, which is 1 and 2. Moving on to the next one. Here we have some reaction of metal are shown. Element metal burns oxide of metal and add to purple acidified product goes colorless. Adds to water solution, add litmus paper goes red. Which element is M? If litmus paper is going red and acidified potassium permanganate is getting what? It must be some kind of an acidic solution. Magnesium is metal, iron is metal, carbon, we have not studied anything with respect to that. We are left with only one option, which is sulfur. Why I cancelled all of it? Because उसने हमें यहाँ पे hint दिया हुआ कि it turns red, blue litmus paper red, which means it must be acidic in nature. Iron and magnesium both are metal, और वो हमने अभी भी study किया, वो क्या होती हैं हमारे पास? Basic in nature होती हैं. Carbon हमारे पास जो है, we do not deal with any, not that I remember of कि हमने कभी उसको study किया है उस terms में कि उसकी ऑक्साइड. वैसे कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, कार्बन मोनोऑक्साइड एसिडिक इन नेचर होती है, क्या होती है? पॉइजनस होती है, आई थिंक सो, है ना?
Yeah.
In which equation is the underlying reactant acting as a base? Base कौन सी होती है? Which accepts a proton or gives a proton?
Accepts.
So out of all these options, which is accepting a proton?
C.
Yes, because H2O becomes H3O. So option number C. Which gas is an air pollutant that causes? We just discussed this. Nitrogen dioxide.
Methane.
नाइट्रोजन डाइऑक्साइड एसिड रेंज में वो बात कर रहे हैं. Then we have some metal nitrates and carbonate decomposes when heated strongly. Metal Q has a nitrate that decomposes to give a salt and a colorless gas only. The carbonate of metal Q does not decompose when heated with a Bunsen burner. So which could be the right option? We need to see out of all these, which one is the most reactive one.
Sodium.
Yes. This question needs to be done on the basis of reactivity. Then we have
But
a
why?
white solid. सोडियम मोस्ट रिएक्टिव है ना, स्ट्रांग होगा, डिकम्पोज नहीं होगा इजीली। और जो हमने पढ़ा है मेटल, जो मोस्ट रिएक्टिव मेटल्स होते हैं उनके कंपाउंड स्टेबल होते हैं।
So it won't decompose?
यस, जैसे हम एल्युमिनियम की इलेक्ट्रोलिसिस क्यों करते हैं, बिकॉज एल्युमिनियम इज रिएक्टिव मेटल, इट्स डिफिकल्ट टू सेपरेट फ्रॉम।
Oh.
इसमें भी उसने बोला है कि द नाइट्रेट इज गिविंग अस अ सॉल्ट अलोंगसाइड अ कलरलेस गैस, जो नाइट्रोजन डाइऑक्साइड होगी हमारे पास। Then we have white solid Z reacts with dilute HCl to produce a gas. The same gas is produced when compound Z is heated strongly. What is compound Z?
Calcium carbonate?
There is only one which could give a gas, and that is calcium carbonate. Then we have, this is the kind of table I was asking you to memorize. Information about solubility of salt is shown. Chlorides are soluble except lead chloride and silver chloride. All nitrates are soluble and all sulfates are soluble except for barium sulfate and lead sulfate. Aqueous solution of which two compounds will produces a precipitate when added together? वही question जो मैंने आपको बिल्कुल start में before starting the lecture बताया था ना, कि they are always made by mixing two soluble salts and we get a precipitate and a soluble salt. तो इनमें से कौन सा होगा जो कि दोनों soluble हैं and after reacting would give a precipitate?
Is it B?
बेरियम सिल्वर क्लोराइड, हमने रिएक्टिविटी को भी तो इन कंसिडरेशन रखना है ना।
Oh, yeah.
देखो अगर ये दोनों रिएक्ट करेंगे, लेट्स स्टार्ट विद ऑप्शन नंबर सी, तो we're going to get NaCl and K2SO4, ठीक है, and that's soluble, ठीक है, तो ये ऑप्शन नहीं होगा। CuSO4 and Zn को ऐड करते हैं तो we're going to get ZnSO4 and copper
No
nitrate,
reaction.
and that's again is going to be a soluble solution, ठीक है। and अगर हम BaNO3 and CaCl2 को ऐड करते हैं, we're going to get what? CaNO3 and BaCl, and barium chloride is soluble, तो ये भी नहीं होगा। हमारे पास रह ही एक ऑप्शन जाती है, which is option number D.
So
बस क्या
the
बनेगा हमारे
product should
पास?
be insoluble?
हाँ, उन्होंने ये लिखा है ना कि which two salts when combined together would give a precipitate. तो जब हम इन दोनों को combine करेंगे, what we're going to MgNO3 twice plus
PbSO.
PbSO4. So lead sulfate is insoluble and magnesium nitrate is soluble.
Oh,
ये वो आपका
okay.
क्वेश्चन भी आ गया साथ में कि जिसमें आप you were confused about. मतलब पॉइंटर्स वही हैं जो मैंने आपको बताए थे सारे के सारे, कि we have to identify two soluble salts, उनको mix together करेंगे, displacement reaction होगा and we'll get a soluble and insoluble salt. वही निकला ना यहाँ पे, again
Yeah.
it turns out to be the same thing जो मैंने आपको बताया था वहाँ. Then burning fossil fuels releases sulfur dioxide which leads to acid rain. Which ion in the rain causes it to be acidic?
The hydrogen ion.
Yes, because which we combine to it gives H2SO4. Then we have a piece of aluminum is dropped into dilute hydrochloric acid. No immediate reaction is observed. Which statement explains this observation? If nothing happened
D.
at the most, तो उसका meaning क्या होगा?
The unreactive
covered,
oxide there.
हाँ जी, जिसने उसको सेव कर लिया. अब we have BaSO4 and 2NaCl, which is solid. Which process is used to separate a sample of barium sulfate from वो? अभी मैंने आपको बताया था. Which process would be used out of these to separate it out?
Precipitation?
अस्तगफिरुल्लाह, filtration. रेजिड्यू किस पे रह जाएगा? फिल्टर पेपर के ऊपर, उसको हम ड्राई आउट कर लेंगे टू सेपरेट आउट द बेरियम सल्फेट. Didn't I tell you in the beginning of the class कि कैसे करते हैं इसको सेपरेट आउट?
Yeah.
अच्छा जी, अच्छा ये रिपीट हो गया, इसको स्किप कर देते हैं. Now we have when rubidium is added to cold water, a reaction occurs. Suggest two observations that would be made when rubidium is added to cold water. क्या possible outcomes होते हैं हमारे पास उनके?
Fizzing reaction and
नहीं, हाँ,
rubidium hydroxide.
yes. So just two observation
So
उसने बोला.
condensation forms and steam is
No,
released.
हमारे पास fizzing होगी and might catch fire due to
Oh.
hydrogen. Spark produce हो सकता है हमारे पास. Anything. What would be the color of the solution if methyl orange is added to it after the reaction?
Rubidium hydroxide, right? So it's alkali.
Hmm,
So it will be
yellow.
yellow.
Write a chemical reaction for this. 2Rb plus 2H2O gives 2RbOH plus 2 plus H2 just. Hold on. Reactivity series लिखनी है from most reactive to least one. So we have cesium, rubidium, पोटाशियम, और क्या है हमारे पास, लिथियम, सोडियम एंड लिथियम. बिकॉज डाउन द ग्रुप जाते हुए मेटल की रिएक्टिविटी क्या होती है, इंक्रीज होती है. Then we have suggest one safety measure that should be used when rubidium is added to water.
Safety goggles
Yeah.
or gloves.
Safety goggles, glove and an appropriate distance. दो काफी हैं. Phosphate ion has a formula PO4 3 negative. Reduce the formula of rubidium phosphate. So rubidium is from group 2, right? No, group 1. So it would be Rb3PO4. Because ये देखो ना, we got RbOH now. So positive one and negative one. What is the meaning of base?
Proton acceptor.
Yes. And यहाँ पे हमारे पास क्या बनेगा, हाइड्रोजीन. और हाइड्रोजीन का फॉर्मूला क्या होता है, N2H6 पॉजिटिव प्लस 2OH नेगेटिव. इससे हमें हिंट दिया हुआ है कि acts as a base, so it would accept a proton. Then we have dilute sulfuric acid as a typical acid. A student adds excess dilute sulfuric acid to a sample of solid copper carbonate in a test tube. Give 3 observations. सबसे पहले क्या होगी, fizzing, dissolve and disappear.
Because it's soluble.
Yes. And last में हमारे पास क्या होगा, solution turns blue. Because हमारे पास क्या बन जाएगा, copper sulfate.
These are the questions I'm bad at.
You shouldn't be. Reactions आने चाहिए आपको. Give the name of all the product forms. हमने एक प्रोडक्ट तो अभी भी डिस्कस कर ली कि क्या बनेगा, कॉपर सल्फेट. वो लेट्स राइट copper 2 sulfate. एंड हमारे पास साथ में क्या बनेगा, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंड वाटर. Then we have dilute nitric acid behaves as a typical acid in some reactions, but not in other reactions. Dilute nitric acid behave as a when reacted with copper oxide and with copper carbonate. Describe what would you see if excess dilute nitric acid is added separately to solid samples of copper carbonate and copper oxide. Copper carbonate में तो हमारे पास क्या होगा? कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड बनेगी, हमारे पास कॉपर नाइट्रेट बनेगा
Water.
एंड वाटर आएगा. कॉपर ऑक्साइड में हमारे पास क्या आएगा? कॉपर नाइट्रेट एंड वाटर ओनली. साथ साथ में हमें बताना भी है, तो फिजिंग होगी इसके अंदर हमारे पास. एंड फिजिंग के साथ हमारे पास डिसॉल्व हो जाएगा ये. एंड कॉपर कार्बोनेट से वो कॉपर नाइट्रेट बन रहा है, तो कलर वी डू नॉट नो अबाउट दैट. ब्लू सोल्यूशन फॉर्म हो जाएगा. कॉपर नाइट्रेट का कलर क्या होता है? किस ब्लू होता है. Can you check
How
it?
do you even know?
Can you check? I'm asking you to please check it. Fizzing, dissolves and copper nitrate का कलर क्या होगा? Because दोनों में फॉर्म हो रहा है ना कॉपर नाइट्रेट. आई गेस ब्लू ही होता है.
Blue color, yeah.
हाँ, ब्लू. सो इन दोनों में अब इसमें फिजिंग नहीं होगी, इसमें सिर्फ डिसअपियर होगा, मतलब डिसॉल्व हो जाएगा एंड विल गेट अ ब्लू सोल्यूशन. एंड आंसर दैट क्वेश्चन हाउ डू वी नो, मैंने को मल्टीपल टाइम्स आपको क्लास से स्टार्ट में भी बोला था कि यू नीड टू मेमोराइज इट. रिपीट इट आफ्टर मी. व्हाट डू यू नीड टू
Okay.
डू? What do you need to do?
Memorize.
Repeat it after me. Yes. And this is the last time you're asking me this.
Inshallah.
Then we have a balanced chemical equation that you will tell me. कैसे बनेगी?
Oh.
Oh, I made a mistake above. Copper nitrate NO3 twice बनना है. बस copper 2 पॉजिटिव होता है, नाइट्रेट आइन -1 होता है. आपने भी करेक्शन नहीं कराई मुझे.
Teachers are always correct.
Right, yeah, seriously. Since when?
Since the beginning of time.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the balance equation.
Gee, I'm thinking.
We have balanced hydrogen on either sides. We have nitrogen balance, two nitrogens balanced, and we have two here, which means how many are left? 4 are left. तो simply यहाँ पे क्या आ जाएगा? NO3 twice.
4.
3 आएगा बल्कि यहाँ पे. 3 आएगा यहाँ पे.
Yeah, 3.
हाँ, बता दो. अब कह देना कि I was about to say it.
I was literally gonna say that.
How is the reaction of dilute nitric acid with copper different from that of a typical method with that of a typical acid? Hydrogen gas इसमें produce नहीं होगी, because we'll
Hydrogen
get.
gas.
हाँ, वो मैंने I have already written it.
Yeah.
And we have to give the formula of beryllium ion. Beryllium group 2 से belong करता है, so we'll have Be2 positive. Write a
2
chemical
plus.
reaction between beryllium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. So BeOH
BeOH.
square plus HCl gives BeCl2 and
4H. 2H2.
4H or 2H2. Then we have suggest a chemical reaction for the reaction between beryllium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide solutions.
BeOH plus Na.
Well, NaOH plus BeOH square gives beryllium hydroxide also reacts with alkali. तो उसने बता दिया reaction is possible.
Amphoteric.
हाँ. So Na
OH. Won't it be the
Na2
same?
हमारे पास salt आएगा ना, salt and water आता है ना हमेशा. Na2
Oh.
BeO2 plus 2H2O.
How do you say
This
that?
this is going to be a little bit of a difficult question. उसने लिख दिया है हमें कि हमारे पास BeO2 आयन बनना है. So pretty much उसने हमें ये क्वेश्चन खुद ही बता दी थी. ठीक है. मैं
I
जिसके
remember
अब
another
भी
question like this.
अब उसके अंदर उसने हमें सब कुछ
Never
ऑलरेडी
saw.
बताया था. We just need to come up with the equation. उसके फॉर्मूला उसके यूज करके.
Okay.
Can I go to the next one? Now do you get it? कि how did we get this
Yeah.
equation? To the last question, we have describe how a pure sample of lead iodide, वही जो आपका insoluble का था, उसको हमने करना. तो मैंने आपको बता दिया. सबसे पहले क्या करेंगे?
Precipitation.
Dissolve salt, mix well. फिर क्या करेंगे? Filter,
Filter.
wash the residue, and let it dry to get the crystals. Write any equation for the formation of lead iodide when potassium iodine and lead nitrate reacts. Displacement reaction देना है हम लोगों को. So Ki reacts with PbNO3 twice and gives
PbI2.
plus KNO3
KNO3 square.
उसने हाफ उस आयनिक की क्वेश्चन लिखने को बोला है. सॉरी. चलो अब हम आयनिक भी लिख लेते हैं. हमारे पास आई है.
Oh,
Pb2 positive plus 2I negative gives PbI2. I hope you get the topics now.
yeah.
Okay. See you tomorrow.